All right, so we are going to try again. Let me see if it's showing now. Um, yes, it's showing now. So hello, 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 everybody. How was your week? So today we do not have any guest with us. It's just going to be me, myself, and you, my FB family. So, what's on Mrs. LJT's mind today? And today, if you can see the title, it says, there we go. Okay. Let me see privacy. And yep, so this should be good now. All right, so we are good to go now. It popped up. Sometimes it takes a little time before it connects, but it looks like we are connected and we are good now. So today, I have a lot on my mind. And no, I don't have a guest with me today. It's just going to be me, myself, and I and you. So we will have a little talk about what's on my mind today. So, first of all, I know that a lot of kids have gone back to school, and some of my teacher friends have gone back to school. So um, I just hope everything is working out fine for everybody, and everybody's finding their place, and um, moving on along as much as everybody can. But there have been a lot of things that have been going on really recently, and that are still going on currently. And I just, I just want to take a little moment and just think about the things that I have learned so far. And I don't know whether to say it's the things that I have learned when I have been in the US, or just to say, I think I was going to learn them anyway. Even if I was not in the US, I would have had to deal with them anyway, because it's not like some of these issues are just happening because it's the US. Some of these issues are happening everywhere anyway. And, we all have things that are bothering us, and things that the society really highlights, and magnify, and things that actually divide us in the society. And you all know I always would go back and refer to something that I've been studying in the Bible. And lately I've been thinking about politics, about why is it that people have focused so much into politics that they have lost the essence of empathy for each other. Like it's either you hold the same political belief as me for me to have empathy for you, or I can't. I can't. Like I saw somebody posted and said, and I'm just going to go with the current situation in the US because this is where I'm based. This is home for me now. So somebody posted and said, "Can you support Black Lives Matter and be a Republican?" And that to me is a loaded question. It's a loaded question because supporting Black Lives Matter, it's it's not supporting an organization. And perhaps people need to, I will rephrase the question like this: Can you support social justice for Black people and be a Republican? And when you think of social justice, what do you think about? When the Bible said, seek justice for the oppressed, is that a political statement? Because I've heard people say, we don't want to be involved in politics. And it bothers me that social justice, which the Bible tells us that we have to seek justice for the oppressed, that's basically when you are seeking justice for the oppressed, it's not political. It's what you should do. It's empathy for other people. So how did that, how did we get to where seeking justice for the oppressed, it's actually viewed as a political stand? And one other thing that I would like to ask, because today I just want people to think about their stand with politics. Can you not agree with abortion and be a Democrat? Can you be a Democrat and not agree with abortion? And how do you reconcile? And this is these are issues that, to me, I feel that they should not even be politicized. How do you reconcile being a Christian and saying that it's okay to just categorically have an abortion? And I know that I'm trading into very touchy topics today. And I'm going to tell you this. When I talk about abortion, I know that the Bible says in Jeremiah, God told Jeremiah that I knew you before you were even conceived in your mother's womb. So that's what drives, hey, Chris, I see you. That's what drives my belief and my stand with abortion. Because I know that God says that he knew Jeremiah before Jeremiah was even formed in his mother's womb. And I know that before Elizabeth conceived John, John's father Zechariah was already told that John was going to be conceived. The same thing with Mary. Before she conceived Jesus, she was told that Jesus was going to be conceived. So to me, having a baby and conceiving a child, it's a divine process. And at the same time, to me, it is not only about abortion, it's also about women's health. So if a woman is expecting and the pregnancy is going to end in the death of the mother and the child, then to me, I don't call that abortion. That's a necessary medical procedure to save the woman. And having said that, my belief that I hold about abortion does not make me have the right to judge somebody that decides to have abortion. It is the same thing that I believe that adultery is wrong. If you are married and you sleep with somebody else who is not your wife, per my Christian belief, it's sinful. You are wrong, and that's what the Bible says. However, it is between you and your God at the end of the day. I cannot sit in the seat of judgment and judge you. And and Chris is asking a question. So are you saying no, that is not what I'm saying, Chris. And the choice of somebody to decide whether they want to use contraceptive or they want to um, masturbate is their choice. Again, it is their choice. And everything that we do on this earth is our choice. The only problem that I have with choice is when choice actually steps and tramples the rights that God has bestowed on other people. For example, let's talk about gay marriage. As a Christian, I would not myself have a gay marriage. But as a human being, I cannot stop two consenting adults from deciding that they want to get married. I can't stop them. It is a matter between two grown-up people that are making a decision, and they're not hurting anybody. They're not hurting anybody. They're not causing any harm to anybody. So their choice is their choice. It's different if a grown-up person molests a child. That is hurting somebody. You are causing harm. If you have desire for that child, you are, and you decide that you are going to fulfill your desire with that child, and there is that child cannot fight you off. That child cannot even consent to your advances. So that is a different situation, whether you are straight, whether you are gay, or whatever you may be. It is not right to trample on the rights of that child. And society should be concerned about it, and society should condemn it, and society should stand against it. The same thing with crime. Crime is when somebody violates another person's rights, and society cannot condone that, regardless of who is doing that. Society should not condone it. But it surprises me that this society that we live in has decided that, yes, and Antoinette says that we can't judge them either. I think it is biological. I don't think gay people wake up one morning to be gay. If people can be born with both sex organs, why can't they be born gay? From and Antoinette, from the biological, from the scientific perspective, I would say yes, I agree with you. And that is why I say I cannot judge them, because I really don't know how they are wired. But from a Christian lens, I would not agree with that statement if I put on a Christian lens. But at the same time, even whether I'm looking at it from a scientific lens or I'm looking at from a religious lens, be it be it a Christian, be it a Muslim lens, be it a Jewish lens, be it whatever lens you look at it from, you look at it from, scientific or whatever lens you use to look at that, we all do not have the right to judge them, because at the end of the day, God has given everybody free will. And you know what gets to me some of the times is people that put on the lenses of religion and judge gay people are actually people that themselves don't do what God has commanded them. And if you put on the religious lens and you look at gay people and you say it is sinful, don't forget that the Bible says, "For all have sinned and fallen short of glory." And also the Bible says, take the log out of your own eye before you try to take a speck out of another person's eye. And that those are the areas that drive how I deal with people that do not have the same belief as I do. Because at the end of the day, if I see somebody's way of life to be sinful, I have to remember myself, how many times along the way have I sinned? Like every day, all the time. The only thing that keeps me is the belief that there is grace that is given to me through the blood of Jesus Christ. And so those are and to answer the question that says, can they be born gay? On that question, like I say, if you are looking at it from the scientific lens, science says somebody can be born gay, and I'm not going to argue with science because I'm not a scientist. So, but bottom line is, whether I am a scientist or I am not a scientist, or whatever I choose to call myself, I have no right whatsoever to sit in the seat of judgment and judge nobody. And yes, God looks at sin all the same. And it is said to me, Antoine said, doesn't God look at sin all the same? And I totally agree with him. God does. And it is said that, you know, um, it is said to me that as people, we actually forget that God looks at sin the same. And it's been interesting to me to see how people that are Christians, and they could swear that they are in high standing and right standing with God, that those people are actually the people that are focused on areas that they see as they have magnified as bigger sins than others. One example, somebody says, I want I won't support anybody or have any fellowship with anybody that supports abortion or that supports gay rights. And by the way, I support gay rights. And I know it's controversial in the church, but at the end of the day, you know what? We do not send people to jail who fornicate in the church. we accept single mothers. And I am not saying we shouldn't. I am just saying let's not pretend like some stuff is okay and some stuff is not okay. And I've been a single mother myself. Hey, Benita, I've been a single mother myself. And I was happy that the church accepted me. And nobody went into my business of why are you a single mother and all that stuff. But why can't we extend the same grace to other people? Why do we pick and choose how we extend our grace? And one other thing is, you know, I am really surprised with how much passion there is condemnation for abortion. And I'm not saying that people should just go around and have abortion and stuff like that, because it's not even, at the end of the day, it's not even safe for people to just continue to have abortion, even if it's done by professional doctors. I might be wrong, but my belief is the body is wired in a certain way, and eventually things will go wrong. But I am, having said that, I am really surprised with people who would go to all levels and all lengths to speak against abortion. And then the same people turn around and complain about children that are being taken care of by the state. So you have a young woman who falls pregnant, and you might say, why did she have sex in the first place? But there are so many reasons why somebody would have sex, ranging from it was rape, it was incest, all the way to it was foolishness. It can be any of those spectrum. And now, if that young woman chooses to have the child, and they're not married, they don't work, and they need help, the very people that condemn abortion are the very people that will also condemn that young woman getting help. So it's really like, exactly what do we want? Where is um, where is compassion? Where is compassion in all the areas of life that we're looking at? How can you condemn abortion and then at the same time turn around and call people moochers? And for those of you that don't understand, that don't know what a moocher is, because I really didn't know that term until I came to the US and I started to hear people use it. A moocher is a term that is used to refer to somebody that just wants to receive and don't want to work for anything. So when life knocks people down here, they're called moochers. So you would condemn at the top of your voice people that commit abortion, and then use that same voice to condemn the ones that actually go ahead and give birth and have those children. Like, what level of hypocrisy is this? And then on top of that, these children that then grow up in this struggle, nobody cares for them. And actually, they grow up to be stereotyped. And that is where another problem comes in, of people being stereotyped because of the hardships that they go through. They grow up to be stereotyped, and the entire race of people is stereotyped. And oh, by the way, it is very sad to me because I have come to realize that people that are in need in this country are not only people of my race, Black people. White people are also in need. And there are some white people that get help from the government. But the stereotyping focuses on the Black people being called lazy and all the different labels that go in. And next level is police brutality, which has been politicized. So when people say, stop killing unarmed Black people or stop shooting at unarmed Black people, or stop being so brutal when police do arrest and being so super extremely brutal towards other people. And all you hear again is you don't like police people, you don't like police. And I've been accused by so many people of not liking police officers. And I'm like, there is a difference. Police officer, being a police officer is a career. And I have no problem with that career. I actually really never paid much attention to police officers until I came to the US. Because for me, the job of a police officer is to intervene when there's a disturbance, to intervene when there's criminal activities going on, but not for them to follow me when I'm just out walking. Like, for what? Not for them to follow me when I'm out running and I'm not breaking into a house, I'm not breaking into a car, I'm just outside on a walk trail. Like, why do police officers here do that stuff? Like, America is supposed to be advanced, but the behavior, the policy methods here are so backwards. And it's so politically okay to some people that the ways of policing in the US are so backwards. Like, it's shameful. I know that you all will accuse me of not being pro-America, but I don't care. Maybe it's okay for me not to be pro-America and tell you all the truth, that your policing ways are backwards. In Botswana, the only thing that I was scared of when I stepped out of my house was criminals. It was never police officers. If I saw a police officer, I was happy because I knew I was safe. As long as I am not breaking into a car and they can really see that I'm breaking into somebody's car, as long as I am not violating anybody's rights, I was okay. Police officers are not figures to be scared of. But police officers here are viewed as the final authority, like they're authoritative. They can shoot somebody 7 times in the back. And politically, depending on which political party you align yourself with, it is okay. Because the Republican Party says it's okay for them to be authoritative, that's pro-America. And the Democratic Party say it's not okay for them to be authoritative. I don't know whether it's because they want Black votes or they really mean it. I don't know. But at the end of the day, for me, is why should this even be a political thing? Like, these are human beings. If you are so concerned about gay rights, two adults choosing what they want to do, you are so concerned about it. You speak about it every day on the pulpit. Every Sunday, you given a chance, you are going to speak about gay rights. You're going to speak about abortion. You are going to pull out. I've even been in a church where the preacher pulled out statistics of how many Black women committed abortion in a year. That was a very uncomfortable church day for me, and it was a predominantly white church, and I might have been the only Black person that day. The preacher was preparing to go and speak about abortion in a Black church, and in that predominantly white congregation, that day when he was doing his practice preaching for his when he was doing his practice preaching for his next Sunday preaching to the Black congregation, he pulled his statistics of how many Black women the previous year had committed abortion. No mention of how many white women had committed abortion. It was a sermon focused on Black women and committing abortion. I sat through that service and wondered why. And I was still new in the US, so really, like, those were some of the things that kind of like built a foundation of my understanding of the controversy between Black and white in this country. But I sat in that same congregation for, I would like to say, a good 3 to 4 years. And during that time, police brutality was going on in the US. And I never even once heard anything about police brutality in that congregation being addressed. I never, and when I say police brutality, I'm talking about murder. The Bible says, "Thou shalt not murder." But in the US, if you are putting on a blue uniform, you have the right to murder. And a preacher will brace you for murdering. And Philip, I see your comment. And why is it the women who commit abortion, if I go to the doctor for a surgery, I don't commit a surgery? Ha! Tough audience. And probably that's something that we need to look at. I have not thought about that way, Philip, but that's an interesting perspective. And I will look into it. But back to police murder. Murder is murder. It doesn't matter who commits it. Murder is murder. It amazes me that the United States of America, a country supposedly so advanced that it has sent multiple men out of space, can have a police force that holds a philosophy of, I kill you before you kill me. I have never, I have been to many countries. I would not say a lot of countries, but I have been to many countries and have lived in many countries, not for long in some, but enough to have interacted with police officers and enough to have heard stories about how police officers handle crime. And I have to tell you, the United States of America is the only country that I know of where law enforcement is allowed to practice I murder you first before you murder me. That's a very, very wrong thing to do for law enforcement. And honestly, for me and for any civil society, if a law enforcement officer holds that view of I murder you before you murder me, then they shouldn't be a law enforcement officer. And for those of you that have been in the military, because for me, law enforcement is a military unit for a country. They operate with similar laws that the military will operate with when they're out there deployed. And I know for sure that when you go out there, the military, dangerous places like Afghanistan or whichever other dangerous place you can think of, they do not go into a village and take out their AK-47s and say, pow, 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 kill everything in their way because they might be a terrorist in the midst of that people. They don't do that. They don't operate on I murder you before you murder me. They have to really make sure that that's their target before they kill. That is why even when they went for Osama bin Laden, they were able to capture his family. Why? Even though they went into the most dangerous territory, Osama bin Laden's house, they did not go in and just start opening fire. But why is it that our law enforcement is operating on that level, and especially when dealing with people of color? And these are things that ministers of the gospel, they will talk all day long until they turn purple about gay marriage, about abortion, but they will never address the murderers in this country. And I just feel that that is wrong. Like, murder is murder. It doesn't matter who committed it. I don't understand how it can be okay for a Christian, for somebody who is running away and be shot at, and it is okay. I would never understand why it will be okay for somebody who is handcuffed, thrown to the floor, and then be shot. I've never understand why it will be okay for a 12-year-old little kid playing in the park to be executed by a police officer because he was holding a toy gun. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. The mentality of I kill you first before you kill me. And I have heard even some of the police officer families saying, my husband has to come home to me. Listen, if you are scared of your husband's life, tell him to take off the uniform, hang up the gloves. Don't do it. Like, if it's too dangerous for you, don't do it. It's like somebody going in the military and being scared of being deployed. Don't join the military. Are we scared that we will end up with no police force? I don't think that we can end up with no police force, because there are real people out there who really want to serve the community, who are not scared. And it is so sad to hear a police officer's spouse or child or anything like that talking about, my daddy has to come home. What kind of a coward of a daddy do you have for you to be so concerned that they have to come home? These are supposed to be brave women and men that put on that uniform every day. Is it risky? Yes, life is risky. We get on the highway driving. We know that there can be a drunk driver out there, but I don't get on the highway and say, I'm going to hit your car before you hit mine. I don't do that. Like, it just does not make sense when I hear the argument and the excuses being made for police officers murdering black people. Like this young man in that was shot 7 times. And they say because he went to the car and he could have had a knife in there. Okay, so let's say he went in the car and he had a knife in there, and he takes the knife out and he turns around and he comes for the officer, and the officer shoots him. You are not going to hear anything from me, because at that point, yes, the officer had to neutralize the situation. But shooting somebody 7 times on the back, on the assumption that there is a knife in the car that they're getting in, and they are going to come out with the knife and try to kill me. What kind of a coward are you hiding behind that police uniform? There are 2 things that can describe you. You are either a murdering racist, or you are a murdering coward. And with those 2, no matter which one identifies you, you really shouldn't be wearing that uniform. They call you, they praise you, and they call you a brave man. No, you are a shame to America. And all of you are pro-Americans, as you call yourselves. This behavior is not reflecting well on America. And I know that you may say we don't care, we don't care what others think about us. No, the reason why you're sending people to the moon, the reason why you are going around deploying American military in foreign soil and all that stuff is because you care about what other people think about the United States of America. You want people to think that the United States of America is great. The reason why you're always condemning people that speak against America and say that they're not pro-America is because you care about the image of America. And if you cared enough about the image of America, you would care about the fact that American police officers are a shame in this world. And I do know that there are good American police officers, but we have enough, more than enough bad apples to shame this country. You don't see in the news, in the shithole countries, as your president calls African countries, you don't hear in the news where police officers are going around and gunning people that are just walking around in the streets. Anytime you hear such things happening, most of the times it's terrorist groups, which, oh, by the way, that's another thing. We have those in the US. So now what sets us apart from other countries? We have the KKKs and now we have the support, the thin black blue life or whatever you call yourselves, and those are the ones that the 17-year-old young man just killed people. And before he killed the people, I watched the video. Police officers passing water to him and other people that were with him carrying those guns. And you can hear them in the video, police officers saying, "We appreciate you guys." They appreciate them for what? For coming in and killing people? And you see, like in that video, like this is so shameful, America. You see in that same video, after this young man kills people and the police cars are coming in and he has his hands raised with the gun slung. He has the gun slung across his body and he has his hands and he's walking towards the police cars. And you can see that this young man is expecting that the police are going to stop and arrest him. You can see that in that video because at some point he stops and he puts his hands up and the police passes by him. A terrorist. Had he been brown with that gun and shots were reported, could he raise his hand up and the officers pass by and just ignore him? Like, I think I counted about 4 police cars that passed by this young man after he shot and killed people. And they didn't arrest him. Before he went for his kill, they gave him water and thanked him. After he killed, 4 of their cars passed by him, did not arrest him. What makes this young man holy in their eyes? The color of his skin. And it is a shame that America is a country like that. I can tell you, if this was in Libya, America will send American troops to go and remove the president of Libya. If this was in Iraq, America will send American troops to go and remove the president of Iraq. But this is in America. Guess what? This terrorist is being praised as a pro-American. This is shameful. We have a president who just last night, he gave a speech. And I listened to see if he will address such issues. No. He did not address them. They are way beneath them. A Black person being shot 7 times in the back by law enforcement is beneath our president to address. And it's not just one incident. It's multiple incidents. You know, I would understand if it was one incident and we will be like, you know, he is in that high office and really he cannot address each and every little thing that happens. But it's not just one incident. The only time he addresses it is to condemn the protesters under the guise of, I am condemning the rioting. He will tell you when the white terrorists attack, he will tell you that there were good people on both sides. When Black people protest, you will never hear him say, oh, there are good people amongst protesters. He never says that. Never. If I am wrong, find a video of him saying that and share it to me. I have never heard Donald J. Trump say there are good people amongst the protesters. No, he condemns the protesters holistically. He called them thugs. He called them rioters. He called them anti-Americans. Anything that's negative that he can put on them, he puts on them. But when it's white people doing that, guess what? There are good people on both sides. America, this is shameful. And whether you are Republican, whether you are Democrat, stop making this about politics. This is human life. This is the life of human beings. And stop accepting the behavior of the law enforcement. I tell you, it is not okay for law enforcement to be cowards. America is supposed to be the land of the brave. But you are placing a man for shooting another man on the back 7 times, the land of the brave. You are placing a man for putting his knee on another man's neck while he's handcuffed and killing him, the land of the brave. And then you go around and try to find reasons why that man had to die. Oh, he had pointed a gun at a pregnant woman. Oh, he had drugs in his system. Let me ask you this. So, George Floyd pointed a gun at a pregnant woman, and he was punished for it. Why does he have to die years later for that? Why is it okay that somebody has to come and kill him? And now the young man that's been shot 7 times, they're saying, oh, he had raped a child. How many rapists out there that are not in jail? And there are some that have been accused of rape that are holding high offices. And you feel that it is okay for somebody to shoot somebody 7 times in the back, and then you try to make excuses by bringing up crimes that we don't even know if it is true that they exist or they don't exist. And even if they existed, how does that connect? And that is the same stereotyping that I'm talking about. Because every time when this happens, always try to find excuses of why that person had to die. Like George Floyd, he was killed by police officers that have records themselves. So who should have killed who? Anyway, I've gone through my time. I didn't even realize that I was over 7 already, but I just wanted to touch on a little controversial, a couple of controversial topics, and we need to think about them, and we need to stop making everything political, and we also need to really reassess when we say America is great, when we say America is the land of the brave, but at the same time, we make excuses for police officers that make them appear like they're weak. it doesn't add up. And if you are pro-America, you should really be worried about having America have the appearance of the weak, of the land of the weak law enforcement. Because I tell you, I've traveled the world. Nowhere have I seen the police officers make an excuse of, I had to act before they harmed me. Nowhere. I've seen corrupt police officers, but I am yet to go to any country where the police officers hold the behavior of I kill you before you kill me. They may kill you because they are corrupt and they want to get something from you or something like that. Not just because they were scared for their lives. It is a shame that America is accepting that their law enforcement is perpetually scared for their lives. And that's why they kill Black people, because they're scared for their lives. Shameful. And I know the police officers that I know here in the US, because I have some of my in-law families that are in the law enforcement. They are brave men and women. And it is painful for me to see them being painted as cowards. I have to react. I have to kill you before you kill me. Behavior of cowardice. Anyway, stay blessed and think about your relationship with God. And remember, God says, thou shalt not murder. And if God condemns murder and Christ condemns murder, and you say you are a Christian, meaning you are a Christ-like person, you should not be okay with murder, regardless of who murders. So long.